The FF6 music, I like it. Yes, Yoshikev, you too can get this music from ocremix.org. That one was Slam Davis, the Slam Shuffle by Maze Dude. So if you want that specific song, you can get there. So what do we do now? We just need to give it a little tap. The bottle's already about to pop. If we just throw a rock or something at it, it'll go off on its own. Small rock, small rock. Junpei looked down at the floor. Scattered across it were pieces of dry ice left over from the larger chunk he crushed earlier. Alright, this ought to do the trick. He pulled his sleeve down over his hand to keep it from getting burned and grabbed the chunk of dry ice. It was a pretty good size. Not as big as a pool ball. He figured it would be just about the right size. Alright guys, stand back. Actually, we should probably hide somewhere. Both Santa and June looked at him with new concern. Where exactly do you expect us to hide, genius? There isn't really anywhere big enough. Yes, there is. Look, right here. We can hide in here. Junpei pulled open the door to the small cellar. Come on, get inside, quick. Santa and June nodded and jumped down into the hole. Junpei quickly followed. In his hand, he could feel the chill of the frozen carbon dioxide even through his sleeve. He tightened his grip, took aim, and prepared to throw. Alright, here it goes. 3, 4, 5. You're counting the wrong way. Oops. That's a really sad excuse for a joke, man. Sorry, dude. Alright, for real this time. You guys ready? Yes, whenever you're ready. Just throw the damn thing. Alright, here I go. 3, 2, 1. Junpei threw the chunk of dry ice as hard as he could. With the same motion, he ducked down in the cellar with Santa and June, just as... Junpei leapt out of the cellar and ran to the door. Junpei! The ice on the door, is it gone? Yeah, it's gone! The blast must have shattered it. Yes! Alright, let's see if it opens! Junpei grabbed the knob and pushed with all his might. The door gave way easily, and all three of them tumbled out of the freezer at once. Hooray! We're out! June, relieved, collapsed onto the floor. Move! Santa shoved past Junpei and ran straight to the grill, which he immediately grabbed. Ow! God damn it! Hot, hot, hot! Fuck! He proceeded to kick the grill in a futile but amusing fit of rage. Where was Lotus? It took Junpei only a moment to find her. She was sitting on the counter, idly scratching her chest. Welcome back. I was starting to get tired of waiting for you guys. With a great yawn, Lotus lowered herself off the counter. Junpei clutched his teeth and walked towards her. What were you doing? What do you mean, what was I doing? I was waiting. We were gonna die! Oh yeah? But you didn't, so everything worked out alright, didn't it? What the hell? Just kidding. It might not look like it, but I was really worried. Don't give me that crap. I'm telling the truth. I mean, if you died, then I'd be in trouble too. If you died, then I'd be stuck here and I'd die too, right? I did all I could. I even looked around to see if there was anything I could use to pry open the door. But I couldn't find anything. So all I could do was wait. I mean, what else do you want me to do? Call the cops? It was true that there wasn't much she could have done, but something about her tone. Junpei gritted his teeth. Fine. There's one thing I have to ask you. What's that? You didn't close the door, did you? What? You think I closed the door on you? Why would I do something like that? It closed on its own. I told you before, if you die, then I die too. She was right, and Junpei knew it. Without them, she'd be in very serious trouble. It seemed that an accident was the only explanation for the door's closure. No, everything was set up so that we could escape it. Obviously, it was set up by Zero. If Lotus had really wanted to kill them, all she would have had to do was bar the door from the outside. And she hadn't. Well, she hadn't done anything. The most she was guilty of is laziness or negligence, not attempted murder. Junpei swallowed his anger and did his best to apologize. Well, I'm sorry. I'm sorry I doubted you. Oh, yes, well, that's alright. As long as you understand. Lotus looked away and twirled her hair between her fingertips. His vengeance against the girl complete, Santa swaggered back over to Junpei and Lotus. Hey, no more screwing around, you two. Break time's over. Especially for you, lady. You've just been sitting on your fat ass of yours while we're freezing to death. How rude. I was plenty busy. Yeah, how about you put all that energy into something besides bitching? Let's go. Yeah, I don't think she did anything either. It just doesn't make sense. Alright. Grill. Item. You. On grill. Guess I'll put this meat on the grill. Hey, what are you doing? What are you gonna do if the paper burns? Come on, it'll be fine. I mean, it's not like it's gonna burn right away, right? We just gotta keep an eye on it, and the paper will be fine. Well, they can argue all they want. I'm gonna keep an eye on this pork. Cool. Looks like it's about time. I'm gonna try taking the paper out. Jumpy, be careful. Sweet of her to care, but I know what I'm... Ouch! See? I told you. Hey, what the hell are you doing? Hurry up and take the paper out. It's not coming out. The thing's frozen stiff. I can't get it out. So what are you gonna have to... So you're gonna have to cut the meat. Yeah, it looks that way. Alright, now that I've sharpened the knife... Yes, I cut the pork. Awesome, Junpei. Now you can get cut out the paper. C plus 10 plus F. That is 16, 15, and what was C? It was 9, then A is 10, B is 11, C is 12. So it's B, it's 12, 16, 15. Is there anything else written on you, little pork note? No. Okay. So that number is 43. The digital root of that is 7, if that's important. Oh wait, I should actually look at that. Search. C plus 10 plus F. Do you think it's some kind of code? Damn, they're just screwing around. Junpei, do you know what C and F stand for? I think maybe it means corporate finance. I thought it was clever and funny. I think I hate you, Junpei. I want you to be 0, just so we can kill you. This is probably what you're supposed to use to enter the password. Maybe if we put in the right number, it'll open the door. Junpei, maybe the note you found earlier. Yeah, I know. Do you know how to enter the numbers? I think E is for enter and C is for clearing. Basically, when I'm ready to submit my answer, I press E. So if I screw up, I press C, right? I just nodded. Alright, let's give it a shot. Swap the screen so you can see what I'm doing. I'm gonna put digital root first. Oh, okay. 43. There we go. Sounds like metal is falling. I'm playing too much of this game, and by playing I mean idling, because it's an idle game. W stands for faction coins. Well, I guess that went well. Yeah! The door opened! Good job, Jumpy! The Saturn keycard! Cool. This looks like a lowercase h, but the line next to it is throwing me off. It's a symbol for Saturn. Remember? There was an elevator next to the main staircase. Wasn't there a mark like this on the card reader next to it? Oh yeah, I remember that. Guess it means this card ain't gonna help us get out of this room then. I'm not sure. Why don't we try it out? Yeah, maybe this room is a Saturn door too, we just don't see it on this side. Yep. Yes! I think it's unlocked now. It did it, Jumpy! Let's get out of here! Yes! Let's go! You found it! They stepped out of the kitchen and into the hallway that looked rather familiar. A metal grate stretched from wall to wall. Beyond it were 2 elevators in the entrance to the kitchen. They had entered the kitchen from one door and came out the other. It meant their map of the ship's interior was accurate. They laid the map out in front of them and began to discuss the next step. We should be meeting up with everybody else soon. There are 4 possible routes. A, B, C, and D. First, A and B. A and B both seem to be connected to an L-shaped room. However, the 2 doors that lead to that room were both locked and could not be opened. Yeah, that looks like the casino room, I think. Next was Route C. This goes all the way to the main staircase. This goes all the way to the main staircase. That means it's door 5, one of the numbered doors. Oh no, that goes back to the main staircase. Sorry, my bad. That is not. Then over here somewhere is what is the casino. Then, do you think we could meet up with the others after this hallway? No, I don't think we will. Why not? Look, there by the stairs. See how the gate is opened? When we went to the kitchen, it was closed. But it's open now. What do you think that means? They opened it. Most likely. Then if we take Route C, we're going backwards. That would be pointless. Then that means... All four looked at the map. They all looked at the staircase, its lazy curve leading down deeper in the ship. Route D, then. D it is. Yep, Route D. Then we're set. And now I've got a puppy here wanting to talk to me. Not an actual puppy. We just call him a puppy because he's tiny and adorable. Okay. Bye, dog. They jogged down the stairs until they reached C deck. Just to be sure, they kept going to check the deck beneath. Yeah, just like I thought. Deck D is totally underwater. Just like the bottom of the central staircase. Water gazed back at them, its smooth surface like a great mirror. As ominous as it was, Junpei took at least some comfort in the fact the level hasn't gone up much since they last seen it. They turned back to C deck. It didn't take them long to find the two elevators in front of the stairs. They looked identical to the elevators on the top floor, with one exception. These elevators had a card reader on the wall between them. On the card reader was a strange mark. I wrote that mark down, and it's Lotus. Lotus? Really? Yeah, that is the Mercury symbol, but also a Lotus symbol. Huh? See, it's a woman symbol with a thorn on it. Oh, we're making that joke again, right. The thorn on it. It seems like... Ouch! Ouch, 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 ouch! Lotus had taken hold of Junpei's hair. She began to shake him violently, and he thought he heard a low growl coming from her throat. Such violence! He began to wonder if she was not the devil itself. With an uncomfortable smile, June spoke up. This is the Mercury symbol. The thorn symbolizes the wings of Hermes' staff. Hermes, Herpes, whatever. If we can't get this thing to work, these elevators aren't going anywhere. In other words, we need a key card with a Mercury symbol on it. Probably. They gave up on the elevator and returned to the stairs. The hallway stretched out to the left. A great many doors lined both sides of the hallway. They weren't sure how many, but certainly enough to be discouraging. Damn it! If we try and search all these, the sun's gonna go down before we've done half of them. I think the sun's already set. I have a feeling the ship is the only thing that's going to be going down anytime soon. To everyone's dismay. I mean, what? That's even worse! Well, we can come back to this hallway later. Let's check the hallway on the other side, shall we? Frustration and fear building, they walked back to the stairs. To the right was a small hallway. Quickly, they headed to it. It was approximately the same size as the alcove in front of the stairs. The hallway led towards the stern, and at its end was a set of double doors. Let's open it. Junpei nodded and grabbed the one closest to him. He gave it a small tug and felt it move. It was unlocked. Thrilled to have found an unlocked door, he threw it open. Junpei didn't know what to make of what he saw. Okay, if I could have some help from the chat. We couldn't go through 3, so I went through either 7 or 8, and I don't remember which one off the top of my head. So if you folks do remember if I went through 7 or 8, that would be super awesome to remind me. 3 is one that they went on through on their own while we did our own thing, I think. Because that was when they wanted to look for Snake. Simply stood unable to speak. The others simply stared open-mouthed. After a few long moments, Santa managed to speak. What the hell is this? A massive room stretched out in front of them, more of a cavern than a room. Its vastness was oppressive, and it bore down on the 4 companions. You could actually choose 3. Could I? Not with the setup I had, Yoshkev. It was only 7 or 8. We had to do 3 later, when everybody got back together. It was not empty, however. The entire room was filled with lines upon lines of beds. They were simple things, little more than pipe and thin mattresses. Is this a hospital? He had at least been able to put a name to the harsh scent that pervaded the room. The room swam with a harsh, biting smell of antiseptic. In the center of the room were shelves stacked with medicine and a number of medical devices, and a function of which Junpei did not know. More importantly, however, on the back wall of the room were 4 doors. 3 of them were emblazoned with large single-digit numbers with a large thick red paint. The door on the left was labeled 3. The second door from the left had no number, but the third had been given a 7. And the rightmost door had an 8. There could be no doubt they were numbered doors. It did strike Junpei as strange, however, that the door between 3 and 7 should be blank. What, he wondered, could it mean? It means that when you go through those doors, you come back out the blank door, because we know this already, because we played through this game. Let's take a look at the doors. Yes, that sounds like a good plan. Junpei headed through the doors, weaving his way toward the door, weaving his way through the beds. He started with 3 on the left and moved to the right until he reached door 8. But are the reds still active? Like, are they broken or what? It's no use. Well, of course. If it was that easy to open these doors, what would the point of the Nonary game? We have to activate the red or the numbered doors won't. Wait a minute. What's wrong? Look, the display on the red. There's nothing on it. Huh? Don't you remember? The red at the central staircase? If no one was inside, it said vacant. Nope, they're already destroyed. Well, yeah, you're right. But this one... There's nothing on it. There's nothing on it. Right? I wonder if it's broken. Only one way to find out. It didn't respond. All 4 took turns placing their hands over the red, but it refused to respond. They pulled the lever and it still did nothing. As they soon discovered, it wasn't the only red for door 8 that was behaving strangely. The red on door 7 also refused to respond. And door 3 was similarly silent. None of them would respond. What did it mean? I knew it. They're broken. Zero just sucks at maintenance. No, that's impossible. You really think Zero, who prepared all of this, would make such a stupid, simple mistake? Maybe, but that doesn't explain why the thing ain't working. It'll probably be grayed out again. That's also true. But just in case it isn't, if folks do remember, do know which one I took. Also, I need to fix something on... next time we do this stream, I'm going to put something behind the chat so it looks less ugly. Because it's really hard to read on screen. At least for me. Definitely. I need to figure something out for that. It was that moment that they heard a voice from behind them. I believe the bottom of the device has been removed. They spun around to see... Snake! But it was more than just Snake. Ace, Clover, and Seven quickly filed in the room as well. Although they were glad to see one another, it wasn't terribly surprising that they had. If it had been the other party who'd opened the gate in front of them in the kitchen, it wouldn't be unreasonable that they'd bump into each other eventually. The rest of Snake's team, however, did look rather surprised. How? How did you guys? How did you end up here? After a moment of silence and surprise, everyone suddenly began to talk, desperate to exchange information. They talked about the rooms they'd been through and how they ended up in the same place. Of course, none of it was very useful information. That hardly mattered. You heard that? That was my kitty letting out a tiny meow from his sleep. Itty bitty meow. He's adorable. Also, a bit of a drama queen. Of course, none of it's very useful information. That hardly mattered. They were happy simply to see each other again. Although the level of cheer varied greatly from person to person, each one of them was wearing the same manner of smile. Almost as though they had entirely forgotten about the death of the ninth man. No, thought Junpei, perhaps that wasn't it. Perhaps thoughts of his death were what drove them to smile at one another. Not in a morbid or hateful way, no, the ninth man had died, but they were still alive, and they had something to be happy about. A sort of simple, uncomplicated joy, Junpei thought, the joy of being alive. Still alive. I felt so sorry for the ninth man, but there's more than anything, Junpei was happy to be alive. There you have it, our half of the story. His part finished, Ace fell silent. For a moment, Junpei was silent in thought, then he spoke. Okay, let me see if I got all this straight. When you guys got here, the bases for the red were already gone. And you looked all over this room but couldn't find anything? So you figured... there might be something in the hallway with all the doors? So you went and had a look? Yeah. And while you were looking around, you heard voices? Uh-huh. So So you followed the voices and came back here. Indeed. And that was when we found you. Junpei examined the three reds again, just in case. It's our good friend Ace! Hey, Ace! It's good to be back, everyone. I know I'm everyone's favorite. On the bottom of each was a long, thin gap. It looked like a slot for something. Probably something electronic. Well, this isn't good. If the red isn't active, we can't keep going. Well, what about that hallway over there? Isn't there somewhere else we can go? No, there isn't. There are plenty more hospital rooms, but nothing else. Hospital rooms? That's what's behind those doors? Yes. There's a number of individual rooms in addition to this large one. There was a door at the end of the hallway, but it was locked. There was an astrological symbol engraved near the keyhole, however. I was able to get a good, feel for it. I believe this is a symbol of Jupiter. Which one was that? Jupiter, Jupiter, Jupiter. Ah, that one. Not again. Those goddamn things are everywhere. I wonder what they all mean. For a moment, everyone was silent, deep in thought. While we're asking what things mean, what's the deal with this room? I mean, I thought this was a cruise ship, but I can't imagine a cruise ship would have a hospital like this. Of all the people, it was Seven who answered, with calm confidence. Well, I figure it's probably a hospital ship. Chances are it's the Gigantic. Can we skip this part? Because we've gone through this. The Gigantic? Junpei looked confused, so did everyone else. What is this Gigantic? Seven knit his brow for a moment and then began to explain. The Gigantic. He explained that she was been a sister ship to the Titanic, built in the early 20th century. I guess it's not counting this as dialogue we've seen before. I'm holding right and it's not doing anything. The Titanic had two sister ships who were identical to one another in nearly every aspect. The Gigantic was said to be one of them. She was initially intended to be a passenger liner, like the Titanic, but soon after the ship was launched, the First World War began, she was pressed on duty as the British Navy's hospital ship. Time later, Gigantic was damaged by a German mine in the Aegean Sea. She managed to run aground in the accident and consequently not sunk. What then happened to Gigantic? A fateful encounter. One theory ran it was the Lord Gordain who purchased her. Few survivors of Titanic tragedy. Trauma built into his obsessive collector of all things Titanic. His obsession deepened and he began to desire Titanic itself. It was impossible. It lay at the bottom of the Atlantic. Gigantic, however, not suffered such dire fate. Yada yada yada. So you're saying this Lord Gordain bought this ship? Yeah, at least I think I am. That's impossible. No way we're in some boat that's almost 100 years old. Pipe down, just pay attention. What, that's it? Well, have you got any proof? Proof? Proof that this ship really is the Gigantic. Well, a ship's got stuff that's like the Titanic and a hospital ship. That's what I figured. Oh, for goodness, don't tell me that's your only reason. No, I've got more. Like? Well, I mean... Seven looked around desperately, doing anything to avoid meeting Lotus's piercing stare. He scratched his head for a moment and gave up. Finally opened his mouth. I don't know. Lotus sighed and shook her head. I guess your memory isn't back yet, is it? Yeah, sorry about that. Hey, wait a minute. Memory isn't back. Oh right, this is the first time he'd hear about this on this run. Junpei he felt, legitimately shocked by what seemed to be new, very important information. Everyone else, however, seemed unimpressed. In fact, they all looked at Junpei as though he had said something very strange. He decided to revise his attitude for the next question. Wait, was I the only one that didn't know? Everyone nodded. Why? Oh yeah, I guess I didn't tell you, huh? I told the rest of them before we ran into you on the stairs. Told them I couldn't remember a damn thing from before I woke up. What? Then, almost as if to save Junpei from further embarrassment, a bell began to ring from far away. It sounded as though it was a clock at the main stairway. Junpei counted each chime carefully. It's midnight. We've got 6 hours left, right? You don't have any time to screw around. Let's get going. Gotta find this missing parts for the Reds. What do you mean, find? How on earth do you propose to do that? We've looked everywhere in this room. It only leaves one place to look. One? Well, I guess it's not really right. But wait! Don't tell me you mean we need to search all of the other rooms. Don't freak out. We've already searched 4 of them. 4 rooms. We'll have to split up the rest between the 8 of us. Each person does 6 rooms, it'll be 48 rooms, right? So there are 48 rooms left? Earlier experience had apparently not encouraged Lotus to trust 7. 7 scratched his head awkwardly. I don't know. After a little more discussion, they split up and headed towards the rooms to begin searching them. Junpei was chosen to search the rooms on the starboard side, moving from fore to aft. They also determined when they would return to report their findings, next time the clock sounded the chime. When it did, they would meet back in the large central room full of beds. If, during their search, any one of them were to locate the missing components, they were to yell for the others. All stuff we already knew. Details assigned, they left and began searching. Out in the hallway, they went, each one of the rooms they've been assigned. However... Okay, now we can skip things. I'm gonna save at the menu thing real fast. Save. Yes, because we haven't saved for a while. No, we don't want to quit. Alright, back to skipping. So at this point in the story, Snake is now missing. Clover is very pissed and wants to look for him. So we're all trying to find a way to get through these. But I think at this point, they're fixed. So we're going to start looking at places. Oh, it actually matters which one you choose first. Let's go to this casino. How about the casino on B-Deck? Okay, sounds good. 2 off stairs and run. So now we're looking for Snake. Before they knew it, they were there. So was Lotus. She was leaning against the wall examining her nails. Nope, we've seen this scene before. I'm gonna refuse and leave. No, that's alright. Let's go, June. Junpei tugged June's arm and led her quickly away from the stairs. Was that okay? You don't think we should have listened to her? No, I've got a pretty good idea what her proposal would have been. We should be looking for Snake. Well, where should we go next? Her proposal, by the way, was to leave certain people behind, go through the doors without them, and find a way to make sure that we had the right people to get through the 9 door. First class cabin. It's really close. I turned around and looked off down the hallway to the left. Here's Clover. I'm gonna try and talk to her again anyway, because I just feel wrong for not trying. Even if she wants us to leave her alone. Alright, let's just go back to the hospital room. See if we can just skip the rest of this scene. There was nothing he'd learned from talking to him anyway. Junpei took June and left the large hospital room. Okay, well, I guess we have to finish searching. There we go. Let's see, not sure again. Alright, here's Ace showing up and pretty much everyone else showing up. And this is Ace deciding to leave himself behind. And Ace taking the sedative. Which seems so very heroic, doesn't it? Alright, so I went through... Okay, so I can choose door 3. I'm gonna go ahead and save. Alright, so it doesn't matter which of these doors we choose. We went through door 8. So 8 is a check mark. I'm gonna say door 3 because we know what's behind door 3. I want to go through door number 3. No, you can't. Huh? Why? This is impossible. We split ourselves into 3 and 3, then we give up on going through door 3. Why? Oh, right! This is why I couldn't choose to go through door number 3, because I did the math and realized I couldn't. There are 2 combinations that can go through door 3 with 3 people. 3, 4, 5, or 6, 7, 8. That's it. Of course, 2 teams can't go through the same door. I see. That means one team would get left behind. That's right. It doesn't happen if we go through door 7 or 8. No, they're fine. We got 3 options. Santa began to explain. Plan A. Go through door 7 with 3, 5, 8, and go through door 8 with 4, 6, 7. Plan B. Go through door 7 with 4, 5, 7, and go through door 8 with 3, 6, 8. Plan C. Go through door 7, 3, 6, 7, go through door 8 with 4, 5, 8. Those are the only 3 options. That's it. At least if you want to get all 6 of us out of here. That was when Junpei realized. Plan A divides into 2 teams. Plan B divides into 2 teams. Plan C divides into 2 teams. There was one thing they all had in common. Every single combination, 5 and 6, were never on the same team. In other words, if all 6 people were to move forward, Junpei and June would have to be separated. June and Junpei had been friends since they were kids. He trusted her far more than anyone else on the ship. If she was 7 or 8, he'd be taken away from her. So that's something he was prepared to do. Anyway, that's the deal, so think it over. You've got 2 choices, 7 or 8. You can't choose 3. Choose 3, you're going to be leaving 3 people behind to die. So what are you going to do? 7 or 8, time to choose. Junpei thought hard. After thinking it over, his conclusion was... We know it's not that big a risk. We know it can be done. We know we can come back. So it's not a risk to us, because we know ahead of time. Let's do 3. Sorry, Santa, but I still want to go through door 3. What? That's nuts! You gotta be crazy! Why the hell are you so obsessed with that door? I'm just... Junpei paused. He swallowed the words he'd been about to say. Just curious about door 3, that's all. This doesn't explain shit! I've got a reason. I'd be happy to explain it to you if you just come with me. With that, I began walking to the door. Their curiosity likely getting the better of them, the others followed. A few of them looked a little suspicious, but Junpei told himself that it wouldn't matter. He kept walking and kept silent. Eventually, they arrived at number 3 door. Junpei stopped. I'm curious about the red. 7, would you mind authenticating for me? Huh? Why? Please just do it. He stared at Junpei for a moment, then grunted and laid the palm of his head heavily on the scanner. Happy? Yeah, thanks. The number 7 had been entered into the red. Next is June. Please touch the red just like 7 did. Junpei, what are you trying to figure out? Junpei thought about his answer for a moment. I think I might have found another way out. Huh? What? Really? I got them excited, just as Junpei had intended. Now please, June. Okay. 4. With those 2 numbers in the red, Junpei had what he wanted. Casually placed his own hand on the scanner, and the 3rd asterisk blinked on. Alright. The only person who has authenticated now are Santa, Clover, and Lotus. So, what's your point? You don't get it? Think about it. What's the sum of your number and Clover's? 12? What's the digital root of that? 3? Which is Santa's number. By the way, Lotus, what's the number that's currently in the red? It would be 9, right? Yes. What will digital root be if you add 3 to that? The door's number. There you go. Hey, wait a minute. What the hell are you up to? I'm not up to anything. I'm just waiting. Waiting for what? Waiting for the balance to shift. Santa or Lotus and Clover. Once one of you moves, the others won't have a choice. So I'm waiting. Junpei laid his hand almost casually on the lever. You son of a bitch! You tricked us! Then all that stuff you said about going on about is all bullshit! Bullshit? I don't think so. Didn't I tell you I'd figure out another way to get out of here? This is it. Why the hell would you do something like this? Oh dear. Have we gone to the dark side? What the hell? Oh shit. Interesting. Junpei glanced at June. Junpei, you did this just so you can go through the same door as June? That's it? Santa was furious. His face was red, and flecks of spit flew from his lips as he spoke. Junpei closed his eyes calmly, then opened them again. So who's it going to be? Santa or Lotus and Clover? Shit! We're going! Clover! Lotus leapt forward. She grabbed Clover by the sleeve and ran for the door. Oh god! Everything is awful and I'm causing it! I love it! Alright, door number 3. Check. Ran for Junpei in the door. Caught by surprise, Santa froze for a moment, then shot forward like a bullet from a gun. Lotus had a head start, but Santa was taking advantage in size and speed. Almost immediately, he passed Lotus and Clover. No! Wait! Santa did not hesitate. Ugh! Slammed his hand down on the red. This is insane! This isn't right! He glared at Junpei, his chest heaving. Yeah, well, you may be right. Junpei's voice was cold, but not without effort. He turned to the red and pulled the lever. With the sound of metal on metal, the door opened. It would only remain so for 9 seconds, so there was no time to think. Go! Junpei and his 3 reluctant companions jumped to the door's gaping mouth, one after another. No sooner did they enter, the all too familiar noise sounded from their wrists. The detonators had activated. Junpei looked back only once and saw Lotus and Clover on the other side of the closing door. They stood still, stopped where they had been, and Santa reached the red. The defeat and desperation in their faces tore at Junpei's heart. Then the door closed, and they were gone. You son of a bitch, Junpei! This isn't fair! Santa ran on Junpei, lightning crackling in his eyes and knuckles white. Do you realize what you just did? You leave them out there, and they can't... Shut it! That's enough! It hadn't been Junpei that spoke, but Seven. We gotta find the dead, or none of this is gonna matter. The clock was ticking. The dead was their only chance at survival. Unless they could find it and deactivate their detonators, the 4 of them would be... We got less than a minute left! No time for screwing around! Get moving! He scattered and began to scour the room. The deactivation device was nowhere to be found. Corridors stretched out in 3 directions, but every one was blocked off by a wall of metal. There's only one way out. The one other door. There! Seven ran for the door, a rusty iron thing. His large hands grabbed hold of the handle and pulled. The room inside was pitch black. They could see nothing beyond a small patch of light that spilled through the doorway. Junpei stuck his head through the door and looked around the room. Almost immediately, he spotted the blinking red light on the right wall. I found it! The dead's right over here! He stepped into the room and nearly fell down. The floor was slippery. What? He stopped and glanced down at his feet. Hey, what the hell are you doing? Get over there! Junpei felt Seven's heavy hand against his back and stumbled across the room. The other 3 piled in behind him. They all felt immediately that something was wrong. Nothing could be easily identified, only a sense that something terrible shared the room with them. But there was no time to say so. Quick! Get to the dead! They all started moving. In the dark, it was hard to tell where the wall was. All they could see was a tiny red light blinking at them over and over and over. Then finally, suddenly, they were there. In quick succession, they all slammed their hands against the scanner panel. Seven leaned against the wall, gulping air. As his breathing began to return to normal, he glanced at his left wrist and grunted. It stopped. It stopped. Junpei could hear him laughing in the dark, but could barely make out the larger man's face. What the? The sound of retching came from Santa's direction. What the hell's that smell? This is vile. I'm gonna puke. So desperate had they been to turn their faces in the race to the dead, no one noticed the horrible smell that pervaded the room. It was terrible. It was a terrible, nauseating stench, like burnt and rotten meat. Adrenaline had drowned it out, but now it rolled over Junpei in waves, forcing itself into his nose with every breath he took. He felt his stomach clench and bile rise up in his throat. Let's get the lights on first. There's a switch over here. Light that spilled in from the door barely illuminated a small switch plate next to the door. Slowly, with the toll of the last few minutes apparent in his gait, Seven walked towards it. He stopped as he got close and extended his finger toward the switch. There was a soft click as the lights came on. It scarcely faded when another noise pierced the air. A scream. Junpei's breath stopped in his throat. His heart ceased to beat. Time froze. His mind scrambled to make sense of what he saw before him. What was left of the body sat in a sea of blood. Chunks of flesh torn from the body sat in the blood like tiny islands in a great red sea. A vast ragged hole had been torn in the torso. What remained of his intestines spilled out like fresh spaghetti. Smaller chunks of meat had splattered against the wall and become stuck where they dried. Globules of yellowish fat had left trails like tiny slugs as gravity pulled them down on the wall and as they dried to it. Looks like an explosion. His voice was low and strained. Just like the ninth man. The detonator in his bracelet set off the bomb in his gut. It looked as though the explosion had been quite powerful. His legs were both bent in an odd, unnatural way, and his left arm had split open, exposing the painfully white bone of this ulna. His bracelet lay next to him, seemed to have hit the wall hard enough to have shattered the display, which lay on the ground in pieces. Half of his head had simply collapsed. The blood coating made it look like raw pizza dough covered in tomato sauce. His clothes, too, were covered in blood. The burgundy tie, the white shirt, the jacket with the yellow piping, and the gray slacks. They were all familiar to Junpei. Is that... Snake? Senta's voice wavered as he spoke, his mouth dry. Oh my god. Finally Junpei spoke. Why did this happen? No! Suddenly June was screaming, her voice broken. It was an eerie scream full of insanity and not entirely human. No! 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 She shook her head violently and grabbed fistfuls of her own hair. Junpei could hear the sound of hair tearing. No! Stop it, June! Grabbed for her wrist. But as he did, June leapt up and ran toward the exit. Please! Get me out of here! You have to let me out of here! She screamed at the door and her fist slammed against it with a hollow sound. Junpei could see drops of blood on her knuckles. The best part is I'm probably gonna have pizza for lunch. Why are you doing this horrible thing to us? What did we do to deserve this? She screamed again, a desperate, mindless cry. Her fists flailed against the door. Get me out of here! Please! Please just let me out! Junpei couldn't watch anymore. He ran to June and wrapped his arms around her, pulling the screaming girl away from the door. No! Get off me! Let me go! Let me go! She scrambled for a moment, her legs skittering across the floor, but her resistance didn't last long. As suddenly as her outburst had begun, it was over. The manic energy disappeared and her body went limp in Junpei's arms. June collapsed towards the floor and Junpei knelt down with her. He felt drops of something warm and wet. Was she crying? A moment later, she began to sob. Her shoulders shook and great hot tears rolled down her face like rain. We're gonna be fine. It's gonna be alright, June. It's gonna be okay, Kenny. Her name was a whisper. I'll be here with you, okay? She nodded once. Thank you. Thank you so much, Junpei. Her trembling voice pulled at Junpei's heart. He stroked her hair gently. Her face was so close to her. The scent of her hair was nostalgic. Do you feel better? Yes. I'd like to stay here for a little while at least. Junpei's body is so warm. Several minutes passed before June's tears had dried. Junpei stood up. You know what? Here's the thing. Last playthrough, I think the only door we went through that was with June was one of our choices. Only the one. If that's the case, maybe we should make this the run where we only hang out with June. And then next run, we'll do whatever doors are left. I think that makes more sense. So I'm going to change that around. This is going to be the run where we do every single room with June. Because I did not expect to be able to be with June on this run. I did not expect to be able to go through door 3. So that's going to be our plan. We're going to keep going with this run as the June run. He bent down, put his arms under June's, and helped her to her feet. They didn't speak. Neither did Seven or Santa. A person was dead. It died in that room in a terrible way. Junpei knew there was no way he could make himself forget that. There's no way any of them could forget it. But mourning would do no good. They spread out to search the room, but they each felt their heart was made of lead. Seek a way out. Oh, goody! We're gonna have to solve the puzzle in the puzzle room where we have the dead body. Alright, let's see if anything happens when I turn you. God damn it, phone. Fine, you have low battery. We'll deal with you later. Nope, nothing. Not even a drop. Is the pipe clogged? Those letters written in blood. LR. Do you think they have some sort of dying message from Snake? No, it's impossible. You saw the body. You aren't doing anything after something like that happens to you. Then this, the way the blood's dried tells you it's real old. Whatever the blood is, it ain't Snake's. And you're saying this blood was put here a long time ago? Yeah. You were away for a bit? What'd you miss? Why is the dead body bathroom suddenly locked with a puzzle? This was a locked room the entire time. This has always been behind door number 3. So, that's how Snake was killed. He was thrown into door number 3, and then he couldn't authenticate because he was the only one in there. It was a fake Snake, of course, but it was still Snake. Oh, interesting. It's toilet paper with some kind of red symbols on it. You think maybe it's Cytil cipher? Cytil cipher? What the hell is that? You wrap a piece of paper around a stick and then write several sentences on it so that the whole paper is filled up. Then you unwrap the paper and you can't tell what the original message was, right? That's how it works, more or less. And to decipher it, you have to have a stick the same diameter as the original one. Same diameter as the original one, huh? Yeah. And you just wrap the paper around the stick, and then you can read the code. Yeah, I've heard of those ciphers before. I actually thought the same thing. 7 just put something in between. No. No. The murder happened because Ace. It was Ace plus Snake plus the ninth man's thing. Yeah, that was it. Ace, the ninth man bracelet, and then Snake. And what Ace did is he authenticated his and Nine's and then Snake's and then tossed Snake in. Of course, it was fake Snake, but a wooden box. There's something in here. Luminol. Oh, that's why we need to turn the lights off. What the hell is this thing? Some kind of spray bottle? There's something written on it. Can't read anything else. The label's all faded. Let me see that. Yes, we were able to enter 3. We did have to go into 3 for some stuff. Ooh, careful, cat. He just fell off the top of my desk. He landed fine. Don't worry, he's not hurt. Landed on his feet. He just kind of fell off the top of my desk. We did come into here because we also had to analyze the body, where we found out it was a fake. We just grabbed it from him. That wasn't very nice. Oh, this is luminol. You know, forensics guy used it at crime scenes. Oh yeah, stuff that glows blue when you spray it on blood. Again, sorry, my cat. Even if the blood's been wiped off, it'll still glow. No, it's fine, Kirby. I don't mind if folks need to, like, get refreshed as the story I need refreshed all the time. Dividing wall separates the toilets. The hell? What do you think this is? Man, it looks like tar. It's kind of sticky. I don't think we can just wipe it off. And now it's just pouring water on it isn't gonna help much either. What about hot water? Hot water? We have some really hot water, like boiling hot, then maybe we could wash it off. And it's a water tank for the toilet. I've seen a lot of OC guys trying to hide places like this, usually for 187 or something. I guess that's what they think that's clever. I don't know when they'll figure out everybody else thinks it's clever too. Huh? I mean, I know peace, but what's OC? Organized crime. Wait! 7, are you a cop? What's that, some kind of police slang? Huh? Probably. Huh? What'd I say? Why does he look all sad now? It's not really important right now, guys. Let's just check it all out. Alright? Well, he's not wasting any time. Oh, okay, Yoshikev, here's what happened. The 3, 7, and 8 doors, when you go through them, they go to a hallway that leads back to the hospital room. And in the first playthrough, we didn't go through 3. We went through 8. And somebody else a different group went through 7. Then when we got back to the hospital rooms, we were like, okay, we found some keys and stuff, we're gonna go look what they open. And then 7 and some others were like, wait, we still want to search through this door, because we don't know, we haven't found Snake yet, he might be behind this door. So they went behind 3, and when they got through 3, they went to the hallway that led out. And we always made sure that we could get back into the puzzle rooms from that long hallway. So the hallway itself we kept open, and we were able to get to 3, 7, and 8 from back ways in the last playthrough. It's a screwdriver. We can unscrew things with this. Is there something we need to unscrew somewhere? Oh. Toilet stank. Nothing in it. Which means we can't flush it. Kinda hard to flush a toilet without water. There's nothing in the toilet. If there was, it would be gross. Might be something in the tank, you know. Let's open that shit up. Poor choice of words. Red key card. It's been a while since I played this. That's fine, Yoshka. It's a red card. Probably a key card. Do you remember if you saw a card reader anywhere around here? Oh. I didn't check in here. Junpei reached for the broom, and as he grabbed it, he heard a soft voice from behind him. It was June. The rabbit hutch. Huh? He turned around. June looks sadly pale, still looks sadly pale, but there's a smile on her face. Oh, you just remind me of it. The rabbit hutch, I mean. How do I remind you of something like that? Jumpy and the broom. You were always playing around with the broom in front of the rabbit hutch. I was? Don't you remember? Junpei stared at the broom in his hand. You mean you don't remember that summer either? She looked very sad. He shook his head. Of course I remember. How could I forget something like that? It was terrible. They were in the 6th grade. Junpei and June had been assigned to take care of the classroom pets, the rabbits. Their chief duty was to clean the hutches every morning. On the final day of school before summer vacation began, Junpei overslept. He rushed to school and found June standing in front of the rabbit hutches. No sooner had Junpei arrived that June began to cry. He had no idea why until he looked behind her at the rabbit hutch. The first thing he saw was blood. The hutch was filled with the dead bodies of the rabbits. Even after the teachers and friends came to see what the commotion was, June wouldn't stop crying. I just kept crying and crying until you came over. You held my hand and you looked very serious and you said, "Don't cry, I'm gonna catch the person who did this." After you told me that, I finally stopped crying. Well, the real fun started after you started crying. You told me you were gonna catch the killer together. June smiled and a little of the flush of life returned to her cheeks. Then we decided that we'd ambush them. Yeah, I remember. The school had also kept roosters and guinea pigs. Junpei and June decided the murderer would most likely return to finish off the rest of the animals. They would ambush the killer at night. Junpei and June hid behind the hutch at dusk and waited. It was a warm summer night. A quiet sound of crickets whispered through the air. As the sun went down, the stars began to wink at them from the sky. And June's, Akane Kuroshiki's face. That night was something Junpei knew he would never forget as long as he lived. But the murderer never showed up. We waited for them all summer vacation and he never showed up. Yeah, but the animals didn't get attacked either. I think all the work amounted to something, you know? He'd felt the same way, but it was good to hear her say it. Well, you know, if you think about it, we were probably taking on a lot more than we could handle. What do you mean? She looked at him confused. Well, come on. We're just kids. If whoever killed those rabbits had actually showed up, they probably would have had a knife or something. I mean, you must have been pretty worried, right? I wasn't worried. Because you were with me. She blushed furiously. You know, no one else wanted to take care of the animals. Feeling embarrassed, she tried desperately to change the subject. I was the only one who asked to do it at first. Yeah, boys don't really want to bother taking care of animals, you know? Well, yeah, but you asked to do it after I did, didn't you? If it wasn't the rabbits, they were gonna make me do something else. You know how that school was. I figured it'd be better if I was working with somebody who wasn't too much of a loudmouth, right? Somebody who wasn't gonna tell me if I felt like blowing it off. Really? That's why you volunteered? Yeah, it is. He nodded quickly and much too earnestly, and then quickly looked away at something very important. That hadn't been the reason, of course. He had asked to take care of the rabbits so that he could be near June. But it had been so long ago, he couldn't bring himself to tell her how he felt back then. It would be embarrassing. You know, people would get along a lot better if we stopped with this whole embarrassed about your feelings crap. Took a quick breath to clear his head, tossed the broom up, and then snatched it out of the air. No, we don't really have time to be walking down memory lane like this, you know? We gotta figure a way out of this room, otherwise... Yes. June nodded curtly, and then turned to walk away. Junpei turned around and looked at the room, at Snake's body. Chunks of flesh and organs still lay on the floor. The conversation he had with June had been scarcely fit for their surroundings. But perhaps it was a simple human nature. Despite such a situation, or perhaps because of it, mind turned the furthest thing from death that it could find. Still, Junpei couldn't help but feel a twinge of guilt at something so desperately to live, and Snake lay dead before him. He had to live. He wanted a life again, a life with June in it. As he stared at the clumps of blackened flesh, all Junpei could think of was how much he wanted to live. I think we're going down a very bad path. Okay, which button is it? No? Ooh, don't do that. How do I do this again? Which button? I need to find the save button. Because it's not on here. No, stop it. Damn it. There we go. Overwrite the save file, yes. Alright. So with that, I think we're done for today's stream. As you see, my name is Lamar Haven. I stream Monday through Friday, starting at 10 a.m. PST, that is 1 p.m. Eastern. And why is it that the Twitch part of my schedule thing looks way off all of a sudden? I need to fix that. Anyway, I stream Monday through Friday, starting at 10 a.m. PST. That's 1 p.m. Eastern. Tuesdays, Thursdays, I stream what you've seen here. 999, 9 hours, 9 persons, 9 doors. Blind. We're going through the second ending, and I think we're going to go with the June ending, which is to say I'm just going to go wherever June goes and hopes it leads to an ending. That said, I'm very interested in finding out where this goes. However, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, I stream Wild Arms 4. Blind. The game doesn't run as well as I'd like, but it runs well enough to be played. And it's a very interesting strategy element to it, and I really enjoy the way the combat works. It's very tactical, very interesting. However, 999 gets cross-posted to my YouTube. Speaking of YouTube, you can find a link on screen, a link below the stream to get to my YouTube channel. On YouTube, you can find 2 YouTube-specific series. They are Resident Evil 4 and The Binding of Isaac Afterbirth. Stay tuned for the finale of the story of Resident Evil 4 tomorrow. It's going to be great. And once we're done with the finale, there's a lot of extra content. I'm planning at least 6 videos at this point, possibly more. Depends on how long things get. And how lost I get. And of course, Afterbirth is going up at its normal time this week. It should have had an episode yesterday, and it'll totally have an episode tomorrow. I just have to edit and everything today. I've got a lot recorded ahead of time now, which is great. I need to keep this up, and I need to push out more recordings as soon as possible, because once I'm done with Resident Evil 4, I'm going to be able to move on to Undertale. It's going to be great. I'm super excited. It goes a lot quicker if you're able to skip the text. Yeah, this game is going a lot faster now that we're able to skip through things that we've already seen before. But we are getting some interesting notes and interesting little side things going on that are a little bit different. And I like it. That said, I am done for the day. So thank you very much for watching. And I'll see you folks next time.